Guys, we're moving on. So I knew Hannah Claire would like this because, guys, Hannah Claire loves award shows. It's Hannah Claire's favorite thing in the entire world. There's nothing she loves more than award shows. An award show season.
Do you remember we got compared me to a substitute teacher? Brett is that kid who's like, there's a sub, they have weakness. I will torture them. I will say it right now before we get into this. I don't get award shows. I think that their time has come and gone. And I think in some ways, trying to make them a thing is making Hollywood look even more sad than it is. Yeah.
Well, it's like who cares anymore? Right?
Well, it's like not even meaningful because everyone who's weighing in on judging these award shows is biased. Like they specifically leave some movies out, or they, it just, what is the point? Also, like I think what I said a long time ago was like the people who are deciding what movies win, they probably don't represent my character, my values, or my interests. So why do I care what they think?
Yep. So basically, Australian actor Hugh Jackman on Tuesday backed one gender-neutral acting category in which all performers compete as a way of merging male and female acting award categories into one. There's some misinterpretation here because what they're saying is they're merging male and female acting categories into one, but we all know that that's not what they're talking about here. What they're talking about here is non-binary and people who identify as gender non-conforming. But those are the ones that they believe that should all, so everyone should suffer because
I like this idea that we're getting away of like best female, like best actress and best actor, like that way Hugh Jackman is like, I just want to be the best out of all of you. Like this is where the feminists are like, no, we need our own thing.
He's established. He's the one who benefits from this because he's the one whose name recognition will put him at the head of the pack for something like this. But that's not the quote is really funny.
Like he's bored. He's already beat a bunch of people. He's like, I can take you all down.
He's like, didn't you see The Greatest Showman? No, he's like, yeah. So here's what he talks about. He goes, he revealed that he's a big fan of having one gender neutral acting category in which all performers compete. He added, that would be a really positive step. I don't understand why it's split into just two genders when we all know it's a much bigger spectrum. I'm literally picturing a rainbow colored gun at the back of his head.
Do you remember?
Sorry.
Like, I don't remember what was happening, but a couple, like at various points, especially during Donald Trump's presidency, people would be like, we're about to be in World War III. And like, or no, it was when they were like, we should have women be a part of the draft. And it was like, all of a sudden feminists are like, no.
I don't know about that.
Like, that's what I feel like this is going to be like. It's like, he is like, yeah, of course, gender neutral. Absolutely. And there are going to be a bunch of people who are like, wait, this will make it much harder for me to possibly win. You are making it very difficult.
It's like they want to do that.
Would they give a first, second, third, do you think? Because like if you have gendered categories, you're male and female, you're handing out 2 awards. So now would you hand out top 2? Or
Well, it's also interesting that they don't do best female.
Or are they just making award show shorter? This is just occurring to me right now.
They're like, nobody wants to watch
we have to find a way to cut this down. We're spending too much money. No one's interested. If we have fewer categories, we'll say it's because we're being open to gender ideology, and then we'll just spend less time on this.
And look, they don't do best female director, do they? Or they don't do best female composer.
No, they only do it for actors and actresses.
Because
as far as I know,
gendered roles. Because theoretically, it's because you're portraying a female character, whereas if you're a female director, your job is still the same.
I also think it's because I really do think it has to do with the viewership, right? You will stay longer if you want to see who your favorite actor and actress was.
You can't say that anymore either. Actresses get mad if you call them actresses.
I don't care. I do it anyways.
I know, me too.
I don't live by your language rules. It's just crazy. It's also like when congressman and congresswoman, or they'll say it's a spokesperson for this person. I will gender it until I am specifically told not to by our editorial staff, or my editor, I guess. I think that there is a desire to have as much exposure for celebrities at these things as possible.
Yeah.
So instead of doing I'm not sure what Hugh Jackman means. Does he want it so that everyone is competing at one thing? Or
he goes on further. So it says, acknowledging to the BBC that he might have shot himself in the foot and his own chances of winning would be halved if there was one non-binary acting category instead of separate best actor and actress categories. He went on, whatever the mix is, we should maybe just break down any of those categories that end up being divisive and unnecessary. So he's saying gender is unnecessary and divisive.
Wouldn't it be funny if he was like, we should get rid of it and everyone should just get a ribbon? They should get a participation.
We should all just get participation trophies. That would be the best way to go.
Everyone tried. You know what I mean?
And we all did our best, right?
Look, guys, we're all here. We beat out all those other people who are still trying to audition.
You know all those normal people, not just that, or the plebs who have to watch from home?
Yeah, they're not getting this award.
They're not getting it. So this is one of those things where for me, every time we talk about it, I get more and more vibes that his manager told him to say this. Like, he did not want to say this. I don't buy that Hugh Jackman cares. Granted, I guess he's a theater guy, so he's from that community.
Maybe he's secretly on my side. Like, maybe he wants award shows to be over. He's
I got other things to do.
Like, it doesn't matter anyways. No one's really interested in this. So why do we have to keep having this many categories, especially when it's like controversial? If we're gonna have to fight about where we put non-binary or non-identifying gendered people into this, like, it's not that big of a deal anyways. Like, let's just start dismantling the institution. And I respect Hugh Jackman if that's his point.
Then I've got to here's something that would be really funny. What we need is a new form of feminism to rise. So first, what we need to do, we need to establish a best stuntman category, and then let 5 years go by. And then I want the feminists to rise up and say, we need a best stunt woman category, because women are stunt people too. And they feel that they're being unfairly put against the men in the stuntman category, because they're just there's more men doing action scenes. Therefore, we need women to have their own space for stunts. We can create a whole new movement for feminism where they can rise to the occasion and make their own stunt category.
I would be so fascinated if they introduce a stuntman and stunt woman category, if there are more movies that specifically write in female stunts, so they can try and because they, when movies win awards, they're like, the winner of 3, whatever. Like, we don't say which ones. We just got some of them. Like, it could be best costumes, best stunt woman, and good sound. And those are all valuable. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it would be interesting if, in some ways, movies are like, hey, look, we're not going to get best acting, but maybe we can go for best score.
It's funny too, because a lot of female stunt people, it didn't always used to be a thing, at least not as common. There's an 80s biking movie named Rad. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I feel like you've talked about this before.
It's extremely cheesy, and it's amazing. And in it, Lori Loughlin plays a female BMXer.
We have talked about this before.
And Crew Jones is a male BMXer. And all of the BMX scenes that were not part of the big race at the end were all done by the same guy named Eddie Fiola. So you see this part where Lori Loughlin's biker character is very clearly Eddie Fiola in a wig. And I love it. Because she's dressed, she's got the slight bell-bottom white pants on and a sparkly black top. That is the most feminine thing you would have seen back then.
You're like, your back is very broad.
Your back is very broad, and your legs are very defined for a woman in these one random shots. And then the other shots to compensate are just of her, are very clearly the bike on some type of platform, because you can't see it, and it's just Lori Loughlin from the knees up, and you can see that the bike is clearly attached to something. That was what stunts were like for something like that back then. So they said Who Jones? No, it was Crew Jones. The character's name was Crew Jones. CRU. I don't know how many people in the real world have been named Crew.
I don't know either. I don't think it's uncommon.
That movie was Talia Shire, the actress Talia Shire. Adrian. Okay. She produced that movie, and she hated it so much that she refused to let it be she bought it and wouldn't let it be produced again.
How did you see it?
I saw it when I was young. But then eventually I had to sail the high seas to get a copy. But just a couple years ago, the statute of limitations has long since passed.
You can't get them now.
But just recently, they finally got it out on streaming. You can finally
streaming that movie.
It's some company I'd never heard of. You can download it for pay VOD now.
That is fascinating.
The 80s.
Did you do this immediately?
Yes, I did. I immediately. Haven't you ever heard the song?
He had a Google alert set up, and he was like, "I'm in."
I know I've got a lot of work to do, but what I really want to know is would Crew Jones have been eliminated for hopping a barrier during this race in Rad? I would go off on these tangents, and people would be like, "What are you talking about?"
You're like, "I'm just in a small world. It's I experienced something that none of the rest of you did."
Yep, it was those were good times. It had who is the one of the guys, Bart Taylor is the guy in the movie who was played by a guy named Bart Connors in real life, who was like an Olympic gymnast. And this was his first thing after being an Olympic gymnast, is he was in a movie about bike racing.
That's cool.
I love it. So I'm saying that movie should have won awards, but I'm just saying that the actors, like, they had to have a guy do these stunt scenes. So, you know.
So would he win
the best female action star? Like, would it be because he played with the best? Would it be
would
because
he win the best female action stunt, or would he win best stunt man because he is a man?
That we could solve all these problems by just getting rid of it entirely.
Do you think that would help? I mean, do you think that would help award shows if it, in some ways, it may, forget the wokeness aspect of it, like, it makes it more competitive if everyone's competing for one single title.
Not in an industry that loves to virtue signal. It will be nothing but
they would get virtue signaling by being like, it's gender inclusive, like, and it's equality.
And then they'll say, even in the gender inclusive awards, straight white men have won all the awards since this year. Like, that's what they will say.
Wouldn't that be interesting if you took away the barrier and, like, it's like straight white men still win?
Yeah.
Like, what would that tell you about culture?
We did a thing earlier this week. There was a topic that was like, they made the award shows more the people who vote for them. They made the Academy voters more inclusive, and it didn't change anything. And they were mad because, like, isn't that what you want? Isn't that actually the meritocracy you were looking for?
Right.
That everyone got a chance to vote, or all the people from all the groups you thought deserved a chance to vote.
I just feel strongly that award shows will eventually die away. Like, I just think that they must
Or they'll go online only, maybe.
Right. I mean, I think in some ways they just must not be profitable. I know that, like, there are some merits, but streaming is so disruptive to the traditional means of releasing movies that, like, do you even need to have a critically acclaimed movie? Like, at what point does that matter? Or is it that there are certain award shows that will die away as other ones become valuable, right?
My pitch earlier when we were talking about this before, so you know what they need to do? They need to start sending the actors to the Razzies. Like, embrace the
some go.
I know that when Catwoman won, Halle Berry accepted in person.
I think Selena Gomez went and accepted one in person too. I don't know what for, but
my point when I was talking about what I mentioned, Mary, is like, remember when like mean tweets was a thing, and everyone kind of liked it because it took the piss out of the celebrities. Yeah, like you had, like, they read something mean about themselves and then give a sad face. Yeah, and my point was, like, I didn't like it when they clapped back, because you have all the power, you have all the status, right? You're saying this on national television. This is not what the point of this is. The whole point is that you're not the court jester anymore. Now you're the king. Right. They're the court jester. You're supposed to be the one that's allowed to mock the king.
Yeah. And I could understand, like, in any industry, right, that you would have awards. I mean, there's awards in journalism, there's awards in accounting, there's awards for architecture, right?
Eisners.
There's tons of stuff. I don't think it's wrong that Hollywood would want awards, but, like, the idea that it matters to the public is actually long gone. Like, I don't think it matters.
We don't have the unified culture anymore that cares about those institutions.
And I can't help but think it must be a loss, like, in terms of literally a financial loss to keep putting them on these large scales. I think in some ways maybe COVID was helpful because they could limit, you know, who was allowed to go, and, like, you know, you couldn't have people close together and stuff like that. Yep. So they could see, like, no one really is pursuing this. Yeah. I don't know that winning an Academy Award is meaningful outside of Hollywood. Yeah. But it doesn't, I could understand where, like, that does matter to producers and stuff like that.
Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.